From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters, welcoming you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. You can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and soon, much, much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Mighty Moose Beard Oil Company. It's 100% Canadian, 100% natural, taking care of beards around the world. Visit MightyMooseBeard.com. Use promo code SOR2019 today. It's the final Monday of the month where we get into all sorts of monster talk on strange days. Bryan Bowden, researcher out of New York and a podcaster with some success as well, is filling in for the ailing Butch Witkowski. But there is good news. No offense to Bryan, but Butch, who suffered a heart attack 3 months ago, is bound and determined to return to the SOR airwaves just in time for Halloween. So because this is the final Monday of August, we're getting into some weird, some strange, and some downright awesome woo with Bryan tonight. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Bryan Bowden, always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing really great, Dave. Thanks for having me back on. Butch, you get your butt back over here. People miss you. They want your stories, so hopefully you chime up, rev up, and get back on. But I'm doing pretty good, and I appreciate you having me back on.
Well, we appreciate you filling in, man. You've done an admirable job, that is, of helping us out while Butch has been down and out, and we all love Butch, and, you know, we always got to give a shout-out to him. But the best part about it for our audience, if you know Butch Witkowski, you know at the best of times he's ornery. Well, the good news is he's back to being ornery and cranky and just a miserable curmudgeon of a man, and I thanked him for that. It said, good to have you coming back. Last time I chatted with him. So, you know Butch personally. Yes. You know what he's like.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, but this is what we love about Butch, because he tells you the real deal. There's no BS involved. And, yeah, he can get, you know, if he doesn't, he'll tell you straight up, you know, what the deal is. Which it's just awesome. Great guy.
Yeah, great guy indeed. Now, Bryan, for people who may not be familiar with you, let us know, how did you get involved in the cryptid paranormal world?
Well, as a child, of course, I've been, involved with and loving monster movies and space and that type of stuff and aliens. And I started doing a lot more research on it. We had limited type of research, like not like today with the internet. So anything you get your hands on. My dad was a professional photographer, so I used to get those photos for like UFOs over DC and Loch Ness and crazy stuff. And then a couple of years back, I met this other guy there at a meeting, some kind of UFO meetup, and he started his own group called Bronxville Paranormal, and he picked me to come on. It was his first draft pick, and I've been number 2 over there. You know, we've been like brothers from a different mother, and we've just been investigating everything paranormal, not just the ghosts and the hauntings, but cryptids. I've had experience with cryptids many different times in my life. He has as well, and it just keeps branching out. The newest thing that we do is we have a group in New York State called the New York State UFO Project, and we have live meetings upstate New York and downstate, and it's not just UFOs, because like I said the last time I was on your program, there's now a big correlation between people seeing lights or experiencing lights or objects pre and post cryptid sighting. So, we just use that as the banner. We give a great forum for people to come and actually hear other people's stories, like-minded people, without feeling any ridicule. And that's how I started it. And it just keeps going and going and going. There's always some new stuff happening on.
There really is. And every time we think we're getting to be a little bit closer to finding some of these answers, something else weird pops up, man. Something else weird. And who knows what it is, who knows what it's all about, but it just adds that twist that almost makes every researcher out there start back at square one.
It's really funny you said that. there was a big discussion recently about these people that call themselves experts, and I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm not an expert. There's no experts in this field. There are people that may be a little bit more knowledgeable, but anybody calls themselves an expert and you see them, run away from them. They're full of what. But there is things. What happens is you're going down a certain path. You interact with somebody, another researcher. Even Butch has done it for me, and I've done it for other researchers. And you tell them an experience or what the latest news is, and that sets you off on another rabbit hole, and it just keeps going and going and going. So that's what we do. I mean, I think anybody that's interested in this subject, it's just point A leads to B to C to D, and then you go back to A, and then you reassess. It's a great field. I mean, you're never going to be bored in it.
Definitely not. Definitely not, my friend. Brian, I had a little bit of a cryptid time right before the show. Yeah. I got to say, I'm not really a cryptid time. I'm just using that terminology. So I got to let the audience know what happened. So I was putting in a bunch of new commercials today for the show because we got to freshen some of them up and everything that was going right and everything's going good. And then I decided to, think I know what I was doing, and I hit the wrong button, and every commercial and commercial break erased from my system at about 7:45 p.m. So like an hour and a half ago.
Yep.
Now, imagine my horror when this happens and my panic kicking in, man, because here I am. I got the 6 new commercials that I put in there. And here I am looking at my screen. It's empty. So I called up my buddy Chuck, our tech guy. I said, Chuck, I screwed up bad, real bad. And he starts laughing. And he goes, what did you do? I said, I erased all the commercials. And he's like, no. And he starts laughing, right? So literally from the time I got on the phone with Chuck at like 7:48 p.m. until about 14 minutes before showtime, we were rebuilding the entire commercials that I erased. So I have no idea if at the bottom of the hour, man, or at the top of the hour, if anything's going to fire properly. But it's live radio, and this is what we have to do, man. Yep. This is what we have to do. So that was my little eerie cryptid tale of fear and hauntings of this system, but that's okay. Brian, I want to ask you, because we're going to get into this really weird story you were kind of telling me right before we went on the air. We're going to get into that after the commercial break.
Sure.
But for you say you have had some cryptid encounters that you just can't explain. What happened there?
I remember being a young kid, and I don't know if I mentioned this ever before, but I was in a sleepaway camp. I had the opportunity to go to sleepaway camp because my mother was a teacher, and she was the head of the girls' side. This is about 1978, 79, and roughly about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm in this large bunk with about 30 other kids and counselors. You have to go to the bathroom. I'm about 8, 9 years old, and where my double decker was, I was on the top. My feet are right by a window, so I'm about to get up, and I'm smelling skunk, which is nothing unusual for Connecticut, Northwest Connecticut. But as I'm getting up, I'm like, there's a face in my window, and it looks like a giant monkey, and I'm like, I'm kind of peeking. It scared the hell out of me. For the most part, but that was my first experience. I didn't know what the hell was in my window. I pulled my feet back slowly after about an hour and a half of holding it in. I mean, I was going to burst. And I literally started doing that military crawl underneath beds to avoid this creature. But it was definitely a very large head, looked like a monkey, had eyes. It was looking around left and right. Scared the bejeebies out of me. And I kind of forgot about it for a while until I actually met my buddy Al, who's in the BPS, Bronxville Paranormal. We started going around about talking about different experiences with other people that had Bigfoot sightings. And this came right back, and I said, well, let me remember this. And I started to remember the entire experience without the fear, of course. And then I started to do a little more research. Right next to my campgrounds is a reservoir. It happens to be called Crystal Lake. And if you ever seen those Friday the 13th movies, well, they wanted to film it in my camp. But the owner said no. That's where they got Crystal Lake from for the movie. But right next to that, where that Crystal Lake was that summer, there were 3 sightings of Sasquatch / Bigfoot right on the roadway over there. So that's it's pretty unnerving. Now, I haven't had like one of these great experiences where I'm seeing it, 10 feet away from me or whatever. But I've been in a couple of situations where its presence is there, about 25 feet. It's a Depends moment, and that means putting on Depends underwear, because when you're in the middle of the woods, you got no place to go, and you have a 900+ pound, 7-8 foot creature there. It'll really play a number on you, but it doesn't deter me whatsoever. I don't fear the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch of the world. I fear other cryptids like the Dogman, which is that 9 to 12 foot werewolf that's pretty aggressive. So that's pretty much my experiences in a little bit of a nutshell of coming face to face with some of these creatures, which is pretty unnerving.
You got to understand too that you got to think Dogman has something or some kind of relationship with the feline house cat, because cats are just pissed off that it's just, right now. Yeah. They're just upset that it's right now. Dogman is pretty much the exact same way. Always upset about something we're hearing. Everybody who runs into this thing says it is mad, it is pissed off, it is grunting, showing its teeth, just like it got, left at the altar by a Playboy model or something like that.
You're talking, but I never wanted to believe this. But when you start interviewing people and you get people in certain, I guess, government fields that you have to keep confidential, and they're telling you things that they do, and they have more to lose than gain by them talking to you about this, and you can vet these people. You're talking about. Yeah, like a rabid pit bull that's 12 feet tall. They're always pissed off. They're always angry. But it's really interesting. I think I told you last time about the sightings that were taking place of the rake, which is that translucent, white, milky, weird creature with extended limbs that just keeps creeping up on things. There was a moose video where it looked like it was stalking a moose. The moose bolted after a few minutes. It got spooked. But recently, we had a report. Al was chatting with somebody who has property up in New York, and he was, this guy knew about the dogmen that were on the property, and they had a relationship. They just kind of, you don't go over there, and we'll stay over here, and it was copacetic for the most part. But guy's always an firearms owner, and some of these his cattle was starting to be mutilated, so that he was going after the dogman. He had no idea about the rake, and apparently, the dogman kind of went to his house and telepathically, and this is a little bit odd, communicated to the owner of the house saying, "Hey, we didn't touch. It wasn't us that are killing your cattle. It's this thing called the rake." They were describing, there's another creature here that's stalking your cattle. We're not touching your cattle. We have a good relationship. And that's the first time I've ever heard a story told to me, or where this creature was kind of like a team player. In general, there are people that have gotten away from it. I think it shows its teeth more and puffs its chest to get you out of that area. But I don't think they're sweet and light. I think they're very aggressive bipedal killing machines, and you never know when they're going to strike or not.
See, I've heard numerous stories when talking with Linda Godfrey and Butch and Ronald Murphy over the years that these creatures, whether it's Bigfoot or Dogman, people who come in contact with them seem to have this telepathic communication. Much like if they are armed, it's almost like they get this message in their head saying, "Yeah, I wouldn't fire that rifle if I were you."
Yes. I was one of those that didn't want to believe in telepathic communications whatsoever. I mean, it's very Sci-Fi Channel or movie. But I had an experience up in Nuclear Lake in New York. We did a big investigation. This happened with Bigfoot, actually. And I believe that these creatures, especially Bigfoot, have an ability to use infrasound as a weapon and as a cloaking device. I'm working on some research right now, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap from people. So please, I don't care. I'm just telling you what I've been discovering here. But it was at that point where this Bigfoot at one point, it whooped at us, but it whooped 2 whoops, and then the third whoop was 2 miles away. And there's no way in hell this large, massive machine animal can travel such dense woods and like real rocky paths without making noise and go from point A to point B, which is 2 miles away, without having an ability to maybe travel interdimensionally, open up a portal from one spot and appear in another spot. But these stories of communication with dogmen, specifically, people have told us that it was in their head, and it kept talking to us, and it was playing games with our minds. But yeah, I have a feeling that they do have an ability to do things of that nature. I never had that experience with them whatsoever. But there's way too many reports of this to not look at it or not keep it in your list, of hypothesis of what you think may be going on or questions. It's very interesting. They're a very strange creature.
Yeah, I find that interesting too, because First Nations in my area, they tend to believe that, when it comes to Sasquatch, that it is a shapeshifter or an interdimensional type being, that it can just move in and out, almost like there's portals around. I don't know how true that is. I know with my own experience, it leads me to believe that there's something more supernatural about this creature than just being a bipedal hominid of some point. But I don't know, man. I wish we could get closer on this. Yeah. And it often makes me wonder, okay, like I realize, to put it this way, to find a body of any wild animal in the forest is difficult at the best of times, let alone a Sasquatch, which we don't know how many numbers there are of them. We don't know where their territories are. We don't know if they stay in the same territory or if they're nomadic and keep moving like vagabonds. We don't know. And this is part of the big problem that we have. And let's say there's only 1,000 in North America. 1,000. That's not a lot for the amount of terrain that there is. So to find a body, Bryan, it would damn near be impossible if they were of some sort of natural species. Are you there, Bryan?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I said,
you
look,
muted.
I muted by accident. I didn't want to interfere with your commentary. But I was looking at elephants, for example. Okay. And I know we're going to go a little bit off, but I'm just trying to use it as a base. Elephants are very family centric and they're very clan centric. When they die, there is an elephant graveyard. It's a known fact. Some of them are still hidden. They have yet to be found. Bigfoot and Sasquatch in that realm seem to do the same thing. There are lots of stories through history, through different First Nation people, and they talk about you don't go to that area because that's where they bury their dead. And I believe they do bury their dead. I don't think it's something that's like interdimensionally they disappear or they go back to another dimension. I do have a feeling more and more now that they know the terrain better than anybody else, and they know where the caves are. And just look out your window. I've been through Pennsylvania when I was going to the PA Bigfoot camping adventure. There's tens of thousands of millions of acres out there, and we haven't explored all of them. There's no way we can say, oh, they don't do that or whatever. But the chances of you finding a needle in that haystack is really huge. You can't. It's not going to happen. But I think with these creatures, I've heard talk of burials and burial mounds. I've heard talks of other areas where they're all collected together. It's almost like a cemetery. But I do know that these creatures do travel certain pathways. The Appalachian Trail on the East Coast is like the Bigfoot superhighway. They travel all those electric transmission lines. It's easy travel. Most of them are put in areas where they're out of people's way. They may actually use the energy. If you think about it interdimensionally, they may use the energy to charge up and make it easier for them to go in and out of possible dimensions. And I can just see the emails coming in now that I'm talking about interdimensional Bigfoots, because there's a big controversy right now. People just don't want to, not to get on board, but they just don't want to believe it. And I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning more towards it. But, I want more proof. I wish we had physical proof of this creature, because it would get rid of the naysayers, and then we'd have something, a baseline. But we don't. And this is the problem. And I think what's taken place recently, I wanted to bring this up last time, is, the Hadron Collider that they've been playing around with and creating new photons and atoms and, doing some crazy stuff and with matter. I really do believe that the reason why things have changed a lot and a lot more sightings are coming through on Bigfoot, Dogman, Owlman, Mothman, and some other crazy cryptids is, I think, unbeknownst to them, they've really messed around with dimensional space and space-time. And I think we're converging our space-time with another dimensional space-time, and it just makes it easier for these beings to get in and out. I think we've opened the door, and that's why there's so many more sightings for these creatures to come in and out of. There's another investigator, I'm not going to mention the person's name in Bigfoot, and he's driven nuts by this whole interdimensional and telepathy and telepathic communication. It can't happen. It won't happen. He's basing everything off of zoological information and science that we know. Here's the problem. Until we actually come across this creature, we don't know what it can and can't do. If you look at an octopus and you're not familiar with it and you just discovered an octopus for the first time and you watch it change color, shape, size, an octopus is an incredible creature. You would say this is a magical creature. You'd say it was some kind of spirit being, but we know that it has certain building blocks around it. We've collected them, they've studied them, and it's now known. It's part of the base. Until we get a physical creature someplace, and I'm sure the military or governments around the world have some of these. I would wager the farm on it. We're not going to know. But you can't just rule things out just because it's too sci-fi for you or it doesn't go along the line of the bell curve. How many kids do So that's why I don't rule these things out. I don't necessarily want to go that direction, but it is what it is.
Bryan, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight, filling in for recovering Butch Witkowski on Strange Days, which happens the final Monday of every month. We're going to get into more telepathy, Bigfoot, Dogman, aliens, and whatever else comes our way. Stay tuned on Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, much more coming very, very soon. Tonight we are talking cryptids, paranormal, UFOs, aliens, whatever the topic is. We are hitting it tonight on Strange Days. Usually this is with Butch Witkowski. Looks like Butch will be back next month, filling in for a recovering Butch, Bryan Bowden. This is one good dude, man, when it comes to the cryptids and UFOs and everything. He's been going at this for a number of decades out of New York State. Bryan, welcome back. Thank you so much.
My pleasure always to be on here. Feels like family, so I always love it. And anytime I can help you out and I can help out another friend, Butch, and whatever, that's what we do, you know. That's how I roll.
No, I appreciate that, my friend. Now, right before the break, we were talking about telepathy between some of these cryptids and human interaction. It's hard for many people to believe that, especially the scientific community out there, and even the skeptical, that this is happening. What do we have to do to try and prove this? What do we have to do to try and figure out if this is actually happening or one's imagination?
Well, I think we have to replicate it. I mean, that's the only way science is going to deal with it. There are people that through his history, there's mother, daughters, parents and children that seem to be able to communicate without communicating, and it's telepathy. These are abilities that seem science fiction based or whatever, mystical. Something we talk about with Ron, or the Cryptid Guru, as we like to call him, and you like to call him. But in general, I think these are real abilities, and yet, because we are so bombarded with different distractions, we're not able to focus on these abilities and the ability to communicate telepathically. So if we have creatures that can do it, we have to start looking at other creatures that were known on this planet, species, and see if they can communicate telepathically. Let's look at chimpanzees or gorillas or the great apes and see they do certain acts. It's almost as if they are talking telepathically. Hook them up and let's see if it if it happens. You can't just discredit stuff because it sounds too sci-fi for you. I don't like it either, but I have to always keep that on the back burner. When you're researching, you have your facts list of pure facts, and then you have this other category of these things like telepathy, interdimensional travel, light beings, all that strange, bizarre stuff. For years, you talk to plenty of people on about UFOs, right? And what is everybody that's been taken or has been an abductee always talks about? They didn't move their mouths. They talked to me through my mind. So we do believe that that's okay with UFOs. So why not other creatures? What makes it different? Like, what makes a dogman or a Bigfoot different than an alien being able to do that? So, you know what? It's an interesting concept. I have several friends. There's a woman in New York State, Bigfoot researcher of the Hudson Valley, Gail. And when we first met her, I saw a picture that looked like there was a dogman with some kids in front. She was teaching a class, and I was warning her, and she knew about it. And that's how we became friends. And she revealed that Bigfoot, they talked to her. And I believe that if you go out into the woods and you want to go research or looking for these creatures, specifically Bigfoot, I don't advise you going looking for a dogman, to be brutally honest. I mean, that's like, starting a fight with a gunfight, and you have a pop gun on you. But try to send out mental energy. Think in your head, I'm here to see you. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to have an interaction. I mean you no harm, and see what results you get. And we've been doing that lately. We're doing another investigation at our hotspot in New York State, and we recently went there to do a little preliminary type of research, and we were being trailed in the woods. You can see certain things going on. There was a feeling you were getting, a little more intense. So we would feel that we were being watched, but there was no interaction. But we were interacting mentally with them. We were saying to them, the weapons we have on us are not for you. They're to protect us from, bear and other cats. We just want to, meet you, have an interaction, introduce ourselves to you. And I think we got a pretty good result because my buddy got gifted something at his property, which is about 10 miles away from there, from that location. They gave him quartz. And
yes,
this is Al, who I investigate with. He woke up. He said, he felt a little bit strange. He gets these feelings a lot of times. Well, I do too. I call it premonitions or that third eye rocking. And he looked, and there was this quartz stone that he has no quartz in his backyard. He has a fire pit, and it was placed on the fire pit. So we've been playing around with it. I'm telling Al to do certain things like, we will not give food to any Sasquatch ever. It's dangerous. But we will do like a child's toy or some ribbon or, a ball or something like that, a squeaky toy.
Yeah. Yes.
And it seems to be working. So, of course, his wife, not, just like mine, they're not really believers in this subject, but I think it would be very interesting to see the video when she looks out the backyard and there's a big Sasquatch staring right back at her. But right now we're doing pretty good telepathically, trying to use our minds to communicate with them. No words, no sounds, just brain thought.
So I was talking to this guy named Joel on the weekend in my town. And Joel is someone who a couple of years ago started or helped out in the fighting the forest fires that were surrounding our area and when our town was engulfed. And one of the horrific sights that he saw was a cougar burning, caught in hanging on a tree.
Ooh.
Probably about 12, 15 feet up. And Joel is a believer in Sasquatch. He's been living here a long time. He knows the woods around here like the back of his hands. He's experienced some strange things that he can't understand. So the other day I said, Joel, you know this area. I said, give me some hot spots. So he tells me this story about the cougar that burned alive during the forest fires.
Right.
And the firefighters actually tried to get to the cougar to try and rescue it. Like get water on it, whatever they possibly could. But the flames were, in Fahrenheit, probably 1,700 degrees. Okay, it was hot, damn hot up here.
Yeah.
And so they had to watch the cougar literally burn itself to death while clinging it to the tree in fear. So he goes and checks out this cougar just a little while ago. Cougar is still on the tree 2 years later. They've never taken it down. Still there. He says, but Dave, here's the strange part about this. He goes, I'm a wildlife guy. He goes, I do a lot of hunting. I do a lot of tracking. He goes, go look at that cougar. He goes, something has ripped it apart. He goes, all I know is those are not bear claws. Those are not bear claws whatsoever. They're not cat claws. There's no claw marks up the tree, signifying that animals are trying to get up there to feast off of it. He goes, something has torn pieces of that cougar's meat off of it. And
That's
he goes,
insane.
He's like, we do not have animals around here that big that could get up to where that cougar are to rip it apart.
Well, you said about 15 feet up?
Yeah, 10 to 15 feet up.
Well, I mean, you do have Sasquatch, and they go after, I mean, there's reports of them going after and fighting bears, and I'm sure they've fought cougars, and cougars are a big kitty.
Yes.
That's no joke. That's, standing up, it's probably about, 7-8 feet long, if close, some of them.
Yeah.
They're like a big male. But the whole claw thing is very interesting because I'm assuming that, Bigfoot, Sasquatch has, nails on it for defense, that it doesn't go to the manicure and say, oh, yeah, can you just buff this out, But that's something really aggressive, and I'm leaning more towards a dogman or that type of a cryptid or animal. Don't get me wrong. Bigfoot, when they go through a rutting phase and when they go through that every year there's the mating season, you get a young Sasquatch and you're going to get a lot of dangerous situations taking place. They're very aggressive. They'll go right after you. They're as aggressive as the Ohio grassman, which is probably one of the most aggressive Bigfoots out there. But dogman is always aggressive. And dogman always has claws. Now, unless there's something else that's going on, there's a third or fourth creature that we're unaware of at this point. Again, let's go back to the rake. There's a lot less sightings. We have more sightings of dogmans in other locations right now than in that lichen loop that Butch talks about and that his research comes from. You usually get sightings from that all the time, or often enough. Now we're getting sightings out of Indiana on the dogman, and now they're getting rake sightings over there in PA. And this rake creature it's just hard to describe. It looks like a very pale white baby, but the appendages on this thing, like the arms are long, like it looks like a spider, and it has these, I would say, claws at the end of its arms or its legs, and it looks like it has some kind of fangs type of thing, and it doesn't seem to run away from these animals. It's very aggressive. It goes after them. It went after a moose. So what's to say it's not going after the cougar at this point?
And those are some big creatures, man. Those are creatures that want to kill you.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about this thing that the rake is something from creepypasta. Okay, so you know the old saying, "Be careful what you wish for."
Yes.
And your thought has matter and has weight. So if you think bad things happen, or can you can create these manifestations of these things. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's where the creepypasta comes from. They talked about the Slender Man, and people have seen Slender Man, and that's kind of like part of that crowd mentality, like, oh, I saw it too, or whatever, or they see a shadow and they mistake it. But this started out in a creepypasta, same type of thing. But there's video of this thing. It's one thing to come from someone's mind, creating a creature that comes out of your mind. It's another thing to actually see that creature in real life and like, holy, whatever, it's alive. So this creature is just, from what I see, pure evil. But they also associate it with the Wendigo. They associate it with the Skinwalker. I don't think it's a Wendigo nor a Skinwalker. I think it's three separate. Those are three separate different entities and cryptids. The Skinwalker is a human that transforms and does horrible things. You had a Skinwalker actually reportedly on that bus in Canada many years ago. I forgot the name of the guy that got arrested for it. He took the Greyhound bus. It was in the middle of the night. And he cut the head off the guy sitting next to him, and he started eating it, and he freaked everybody out. I remember seeing this stuff, and they just said, oh, he's just crazy. But people said that when he got on the bus, he smelled like rotten flesh. These are key signs of what a skinwalker is, that mystical creature that our First Nations people talk about. But they have no reason to make this up. There's no reason for these stories, for any First Nation person to make it up. It's not like they're making money off of it. This is all based on real fact and really what takes place. Whether us in modern society choose to believe it or not, they don't care. It's a real creature. I don't ever want to meet a skinwalker, nor a Wendigo. Wendigo is another beast that's like that. That's just, these things are just pure evil. So now we get into another area of, is it a cryptid, or is it what people like to, it's demonic. It's part of the devil. You know, I don't think it's demonic. I don't think it has anything to do with religion. I think it has to do with creatures that we have animals and creatures and cryptids that are living not only interdimensionally, but on this earth, under this earth, and under the sea. And they come out when it's time to feed. And getting back to the collider, when you monkey around with Mother Nature and you start messing around with things, what happens? You create time-space rips. You open the door. It's like if you don't know what you're doing and you think you can fix the lock on your front door and you can't, guess what? You just made it easier for anybody to get into your house. And that's what I think is taking place. I think we're interdimensionally going from our dimension into a third dimension, going into, fifth dimension, and these creatures live in these dimensions, and they're like, oh, look, what's this place? They're now coming out. Now we're getting more of these reports. Look at all the reports of this Mothman-type creature coming in Chicago. Why? Did you know that also, it's by Lake Michigan, by the way. Did you know that Lake Michigan, they found pumice stones on the shore there? Really? There's possibly an underground fault and volcano underneath Lake Michigan that just recently started to become active. Where do you get pumice stone? When you have an earthquake or a volcanic eruption or some kind of massive shift in the earth, that's where you get the pumice stone. These things, never appeared before. Now they're appearing. So who's to say in that movement and that shake while the earth is now going through its cycle, we're not releasing or opening these doorways. We're not opening up these passageways to let these things out. I don't think it's evil and religious evil. I think it's just welcome to my world. Kind of like that Stranger Things thing, you get into a different dimension and there it is. But it can travel from that dimension into your own. So watch your six. It's really, we're getting into a crazy time, Dave. And we're going to be heading into a different dimension. I've been talking to a couple of elders about this, Native American elders, and they said, and there's a connection to the Inuit, so you may know them from up north. The Inuit were the first to realize that this planet's shifted already. The sun's not where it's supposed to be, and the moon's not where it's supposed to be. Things are off. And we're getting ourselves into an area where we're going to be heading into a new dimension. I don't know what it is, but they're all saying the same thing. It ain't good, and we're not prepared for it.
We got about 3.5 minutes before we go to break at the top of the hour. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight, filling in for a recovering Butch Witkowski on Strange Days. Bryan, with all of these creatures that are seeming to pop up, do you believe they are tulpas or do you believe they are real creatures? So people who don't know what a tulpa is, they're basically a mind manifestation that a lot of people have put energy in, and now it's become a real creature. What do you think's going on?
I'm thinking that it's a real creature. I think these are real creatures. The tulpa is the scariest story in the thought after you see the scary movie or read a scary book. It's your imagination playing tricks on you. And I do believe there's weight behind your thought, and maybe you can manifest some things. But I think the things that we're talking about right now, where these dogmen, werewolves, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, are real physical flesh and blood creatures, or some kind of flesh and blood. I think there's also a mystical side to it, but it may be part of their component, maybe bioluminescence type of component. Some fish have it. Some other animals have an ability to create light They may also be part of the light being side of it, but I don't think it's topas. I really do think these are real creatures. And I think we're living very extraordinary times because every 26 to 27,000 years, the Earth goes through an Earth cycle. Al Gore will tell you that the Earth is going to die, and we have another idiot in office over here that tells you have 12 years to live because we're going to die from global warming. It's not global warming. We're just living on the tail end of an Earth change where magnetic north changes, ice starts to form, it melts into some places, it forms elsewhere. We have volcanic, like really global type of events that take place. And no one's ever experienced it before because we'd never reported. And the internet 26,000 years ago, to go back to. We have ice samples, we have core samples that prove it. So we don't know what's the ramification of these things, of this energy being meshed together and atoms split. And, that's a lot of force there. What is it releasing? What was locked in at one point, 26,000 years ago and now being released because we have cracks and in the seams and zips now are under the wire. You can that topa stuff is that creepypasta stuff where you make up stuff and you throw it out there. If that's the case and we have the ability to do that, then I'm going to make a topa of that I won the lottery because that's what I want. But I think these are real creatures.
I don't know if they are, man. I don't know if they are. Especially when you get into like the Rake or Slender Man, Slender Man's a perfect example of that because we got about
Slender
30
Man,
seconds.
Right, is a perfect example of it. But the Rake is something that there's plenty of videos on this. There's plenty of eyewitnesses to this, and yes, it's CGI, but they're not that good at CGI to do it. And if they were that good, they'd be working in Hollywood. I'm sorry. Of course, I'd like to, like to meet them personally. It gives me a little I've physically seen it. Actually, my buddy Al saw a Rake like a week ago while driving back to work to work early in the morning. He saw this thing creeping up. It looked like a white, horrible looking spider. He described the Rake, and it was going up and sneaking up on some deer. So he drove past, he stopped, pulled back. He wanted to see if it was maybe lawn furniture or something, but there was nothing there. And then by the time he got back there to really look and investigate, it was raining. So if they did kill something, the blood's gone. It was raining for days after that. So you know what? But he physically saw this thing. And it's not a manifestation. It's not something he made up in his mind. He wasn't looking for it. It was there. So, I don't believe in the Slender Man. That's all crap. Pardon the expression. I just think these things, majority of these things are real.
Well, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see because eventually, with the amount of technology out there, something is going to hit on camera one day. Something is going to come forward where we're going to get some high-quality evidence that one of these things or many of them exist. And I think it's one of those situations, Brian, where it all starts with one. That's where it starts. And once we figure out how we can find one, the other ones will be easier to find. Brian, you hold on. We're going to go to break at the top of the hour. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Strange Days happens make that the final Monday of every month. Butch Witkowski will be back in, September, I believe. Maybe October. I think in September. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you. as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacey, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Come hang out with me, Little Richie G, as I take over the airwaves on Spaced Out Saturdays. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm going to bring you the most fun on the radio you can have with your clothes on. We're going to get to the heart of the subjects from UFOs to what's going on in the paranormal and everything in between. So come join me at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, for the fastest 3 hours of your week.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook Spaced Out Radio Show.
Maybe I should try turning my microphone on. Son of a gun. What happened earlier today was that my radio DJ screwed up, and I erased all of the commercials accidentally. So what happened was I had to load up all brand new commercials. And in my mind, because I put everything on mute while the commercials are going, and it was still showing that commercials were playing. So here I am chatting away with Bryan, thinking that the commercials are on, and they're not. So that is my bad. That is my bad. We'll get that cleared up for tomorrow night. I promise you that. But we want to remind you that Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Bryan is filling in for a recovering Butch Witkowski, who we're hoping to come back. I'm not even going to pronounce, what the heck. We'll give a shout out to Jeff, the Desert Clam, for the password for tonight. Zenzizi is your password. I think that's it, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Yeah, it's one of those nights, my friends. It's one of those nights. We have them every now and again. I do apologize to you for being silly that way, but we'll get it figured out. I'll clean it up after the show. Looks like it's going to be a late one for me, Bryan. Thank you so much for filling in for Butch tonight, man.
It's my pleasure. Can you spell that Zenzizi thing?
Oh my goodness! I gotta tell you. You know, I guess we were due for one of these nights. I guess we were, but I'm glad I got a good friend like you on the radio with me, man, where we could clean it up and try and at least have some fun here while we're talking about this. Hey, before the show started, you actually told me a little bit of a YouTube story, or not a YouTube story, but a UFO story out of the West Coast here. That you said you wouldn't give it justice, but But here you are, man. Here you are. I got to hear this story.
Okay, so I've being involved in UFOs, you're always looking for any type of information and news pre real internet blow up, right? This is around the AOL days. But I've heard a story about someone who killed an alien, and there's a craft, and there's a incidents there. So the story is from a gentleman that I became friendly with online. His name is Dr. Jonathan Reed. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Jonathan Reed, you're going to get familiar with Dr. Jonathan Reed, because I just did an interview with Dr. Reed, and I begged him for a while to get on. He says, okay, I'll do it. And we did 3.5 hours. And it's a video interview, which we're going to break up into – I'm breaking it into three-hour segments, because there's so much to digest in what takes place. That's why I said I'm not going to do it justice. So it's worth listening to when I publish it out. And then I'll do the whole 3 hours. But this is what basically happened. Dr. Reed is a great guy. He's a psychologist. He's working out of, I think, Washington Hospital, University of Washington Medical. And he dealt with child psychology and parents and adults together. And he decided to play hooky one day with his dog, his golden retriever, Susie. And what they do is, he lives in the Pacific Northwest, like where you guys are out of, and it's beautiful there. So he says, I'm going to play hooky, and they usually go for hikes. So he lets the dog off, drives a couple hours away into one of these national parks, and he's walking about an hour and a half in from where he parks his car, and he lets, of course, he lets his dog off, and Susie's running. And when dogs kind of catch sense, they go after things. And then he hears the dog barking, and the bark changes from a normal bark. If you've ever had dogs before, there are different tones to their barking. When something's getting serious, you know it. So he's worried that his dog Susie's got a big cat in a tree, or a bear, or something's, So he picks up a big stick and he starts running, and the barking becomes yelping, and he jumps over this one point, this little like area in the woods, and he sees this creature. And the way he described it is, it was like child size, and it was vibrating, kind of like a paint can shaker. If you ever watch the paint can being shaken from your your local hardware store, you kind of can see the can, but you can't really focus on too much. And the dog had this creature by the arm. And this is all taking place within a few seconds of each other. And the creature takes the dog and kills the dog, literally pulls its head backwards, and the dog splits it in half. The dog starts to envelop itself, becomes a liquid, falls to the ground, and then becomes this grayish ash. In the same breath as this is coming, he comes flying through and whacks. He wants to kill it. That's his dog. Hits this thing in the head, and this thing is lying on the ground. Part of the brain matter's out. Part of the skull's out. He's very confused about what's going on. He's feeling nauseous. He's throwing up. And when he finally composes himself, after about 3 hours of sitting there where he can barely even move, he's just violently becomes ill from the whole experience. He notices that he thought he killed a child, actually. So he's very upset with himself. He actually looks at what he hit in the head, and it's an alien. It's basically an alien. It's shriveled up. It's grayish with slits for eyes and a little slit for the mouth and a nose. To me, it looks a little bit more Asian type of slits on the eyes. Looks like a dried up raisin. And he's watching this thing, and eventually he wants to go get help. He doesn't know what to do, help, he thinks about, I'll bury this thing. And he said, no, the animals will get it. So he looks in his pack, and he gets out his solar blanket that he travels with certain things, a solar blanket, cameras, because he wants to take pictures, video, and whatever. Treats for the dogs, a little nutritious pack for himself. So if they get stuck out there, they have something. Excuse me. He wraps this thing up in the blanket, and then he starts looking at what's going on in the area. He finds this 6 or 7 foot obelisk, and it seems to be anchored off the ground about 3 feet. Now, it looks like a craft to me at one point, but if you change the view of the photos, he has photos, video, audio. They've been and he's found this bracelet there that goes on your wrist that's been tested. It's all precious metals, and 2 or 3 of the elements that were found in it are still unknown today. Okay? It's a bracelet that goes around your wrist like a cuff, and it has 2 prongs in it. And at the end of the prongs are 2 little pieces of sapphire, all pure, 100% pure sapphire. And I'll get into that in a second. So the craft's vibrating. He goes to the craft. He touches it. It's cold. It burns his hand almost like dry ice. He gets away from it. He goes back to this creature, and he says, I'm going to take this with me. He's medically trained. Wraps it up in the solar blanket like a taco. And he doesn't know how he's getting it back to his truck, which is about a good 2-hour hike back. Somehow he manages to get there almost in an instant. In the process of dragging him away from that area, he finds that bracelet. He takes all of this stuff, he brings it back to his house, and he calls up his buddy, and he tells him, I need your help. He's calling everybody he can to get help. No one's there. One guy finally shows up, and he put this creature in the freezer, the big meat freezer in his garage. And he tells his friend, I think I killed something. I think it's an alien or whatever. And the friend's like, okay, let's take a look, kind of calming the situation down, kind of probably not believing him, as he said. And they open it up, and sure enough, it's an alien. And it's lying. They unrolled it. It's on in his garage on the floor. The guys has no clue what to do. They start calling different groups, UFO groups, investigative groups, and saying, what if we had this? What would happen? To see where they can go with this. That in turn probably alerted other authorities. So before other events took place, he starts to look at the creature and starts to do not like an autopsy, but try to examine the creature. They're taking brain samples. They took fluid samples, skin samples. The creature is wearing what it looks like from its neck down. One gigantic, he called it lycra before, like a spandex suit. He cuts the suit to try to peel it back. The suit automatically seals itself back up. So he cuts it again. The suit seals itself back up. There's no seam after he cuts it. It's all sealed back up. The third time he goes to cut it, the suit won't let him cut it. So he says, okay, whatever. He takes these samples. He sends some samples out. He puts some other stuff. He's taking pictures. He puts some other stuff away and tries to hide it in his home in a safe. At this point, the authorities, whoever they may be, we're talking about government, kind of catch on to what's going on and who he is. And when he goes out to meet with somebody to talk about this creature, and they kind of get gun shy, he comes back to the house. Everything from his house is being removed from his house. They go through the garage, they go through the home, they go through everything. So he hides out for about a day, then gets back to his house. They took everything, almost everything. Certain things were put away. He gave some stuff to his buddy that was there, and they put it away and sent it and locked it up and didn't tell anybody where it was. So I don't think they were aware his buddy was there with him. But he literally has pictures of this alien. He has pictures of it on his floor, dead. You can see the brain matter. You can see the piece of the back of the skull that's off. The alien. Here's something interesting. When he went in there to the garage to go get, see what they took, he noticed that there was like wet footprints that went in a different direction. So he doesn't believe that they actually physically got the alien. Basically what happened is the alien was playing possum. The alien is alive. The alien communicates with him, and he still does today. But in this entire time that from this event when it took place until now, there's been several attempts on his life. He's been shot. His car has been wrecked and messed with. He thoroughly believes his parents were killed by the government because of this. He lost his job. He lost his identity. No one even knew that he was in the hospital. There's no record of him there anymore. His life has been turned into turmoil, and he's been in hiding. He has security that's with him. And it's just, I'm not even doing enough justice to this. But one of the things that was very interesting is, Jaime Hassan, I believe it is.
Yes.
Hassan. So Jaime, he latched on to this, and he took Reed down to Mexico and had him on the program, and he's been one of the biggest supporters to get this information out there. And there's a video. They were doing this live TV, live video. It was run live that night, okay? And Dr. Reed took out the bracelet, and you can see pictures of the bracelet, and he describes what happens. And you put this on your wrist, and you press it into your flesh, okay? And what happens is you start feeling pain that goes through your whole entire body, and the next thing you know, he disappeared. There's a light, he disappears, and he's gone for about a good 2 minutes. It's all on film. You can see it on YouTube if you want. I'm going to try to run that in the background on our video so he can see what's going on with it. Because I asked him about it. I said, where'd you go? He says he got transported interdimensionally to a place. He said it was filled with love and light. And he met this large creature, like this is super tall. He described it looked like a little butterfly, but it was like an angel. And they were talking to him and telepathically communicating, saying, this is not the only bracelet. You are now in possession of this. You are now one of the chosen that know about this. So apparently there are several other bracelets or more, and these devices around the planet. And the government's been trying to get it since the beginning. He's actually given it away. He gave it to one person, and that person, and he has no idea where the bracelet actually is. But everything he's done has been tested. He has samples. But because of how they've treated his life and how they try to whack him and take him out, there's no safety there to bring it forward. Now, recently he's done another conference. There was a UFO conference, and he did it with he was one of the speakers with Travis Walton and Tom Reed, both of which also had experiences themselves. And he's coming out more into the open to discuss this. But it's just a fascinating, mind-blowing story. And there's more to it about, the messages he's getting from these I guess, angels when he would travel interdimensionally. He's still in communication with what he calls Freddy, which is with the alien. And they have talks. And there's like a forgiveness there for what he did. It's almost an understanding. But this is an incredible, incredible story. And I thought Benny and Barney Hill was great. It's one of those monumental moments in UFO alien type of history. I think this blows it away. Unfortunately, because when you come out with stories like this or investigations like this, what's the first thing that happens? They try to debunk you. They say, oh, you didn't exist. You're not real. This is all a lie. We can't find any records of you. It's very much what happened to Bob Lazar, the guy that worked at Area 51 and told everybody about what was going on there. The government and the powers that be have the ability to erase you. They can erase you physically, and they can erase you in any other way. I mean, they'll go through your records. They'll change it all. You got to listen to this story. And I told Doc Ritos I'm going to be on. I'd really love to get him on your show. So I think it's going to be where you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. But it's mind-blowing.
If I do recall, and I totally recall this story a little bit, but going back to Art Bell's heyday, I thought this story was already debunked.
Nope, he was on Art Bell, actually, and he was there with Whitley Strieber. And what he was describing with Art Bell, Whitley Strieber was very, he was in the wings listening in on this. This guy he's not doing this for fame or fortune. There's no fame or fortune when people are trying to kill you. The only thing good that can come from this is the message maybe from what he says these messengers are giving him, which is that positive vibe and love and light and whatever. But him living and him not being harassed and killed. This is the problem. People were trying to debunk him. People, there's a ton of people that are always there saying that Reed is not his name. It's really this guy named, whatever. And you know what? I've investigated all of it. And in this really weird world of UFOs and that secrecy and what's going on, for some reason, I don't know if you want to call it a gut feeling, it just rings true. It's so far-fetched and so far out there, but it rings true. And anybody that really is kind of BSing you, just follow the money. With this man, there is no money. There's no money involved. He's not making money on this whatsoever. He was approached, and if you saw the movie Cowboys and Aliens, that bracelet that's on what's his name's wrist, Craig's wrist in the movie that locks on and has the ray, that's based off of Dr. Reed's actual experience. So he did get paid a little bit for that, but they try to cover this up. They don't want this to be known. He physically was holding an alien. He had the body of an alien. And, they said, oh, it's a dummy. It's a wax. You know what? I wasn't there, but there are a couple eyewitnesses that were there, and they'll swear on a stack of Bibles that it's real. And I tend to believe, I got to be honest, I believe his story. I've heard some far-fetched stuff, which is very sketchy. There's no reason for this guy to lie about it. There's none.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I want to look into that one just a little bit more because I don't know. Something is just, when something just kind of, dude, I like the good woo. I do. I am a power woo kind of guy, but this one here, I'm just not sure of. And I don't mean that to sound disrespectful to the story you just told or anything like that. Just, you get that feeling that there's something with it. I get the feeling that there's something not. And the tendency is to okay, this is all BS. And then you start seeing some of the proof. And then yes, could you fake the experience that when he put the bracelet on and he disappeared from the studio and whatever? Yeah, you could do that. You can fake it possibly live somehow or whatever. But not to say that the Mexicans don't have that kind of technology, but they weren't really in par with what we had up here at that same time period. There are people physically watching this taking place. So when people let's say 100 people are in the audience and 100 people see this guy disappear and then reappear, is it smoke and mirrors? Is he a grand illusionist? I don't know. I mean, I understand you're not, there's a little bit of an off there, but what I think is you talk to him about it and you put he's very forward. Ask him any question. I mean, he's heard it before. And just hear him out. You know what? Oh, yeah. You never know. Oh, that's the best way of doing it. This goes back to everything we were talking about before, the telepathic and the interdimensional, and people don't want to believe it because it doesn't conform to the norm. But when we're talking about cryptids, what's normal about it? I hear you right there. My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We're going to head out to break here at the bottom of the hour. Space Out Radio, Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Bryan Bowden filling in for Butch Witkowski. More weird, strange topics right after this.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot THAL, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturday starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
we're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrood, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other. Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more, keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We've passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder, if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can go to our free YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Listen to all of our archives. They are there. And, of course, you can also check out Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire on our website, spacedoutradio.com. Rock out to some Bumblefoot. We got some other stuff coming for you as well. Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Normally, Butch Witkowski is here, but he's still recovering from his heart attack that he had a couple of months ago. He is getting better and crankier, which means he plans on returning next month in September, which is very, very good. But the good news is we got a great guest tonight like Bryan Bowden coming on in to talk about this. He's a cryptid and paranormal researcher out of the state of New York. Great podcaster as well, along with Ronald Murphy. Bryan, come on back.
Yes, the crypto guru, my buddy.
The guru.
He is awesome. He is awesome. I gotta be honest. I worked on the book, and his last book with the fairies on fairies is probably the definitive guide for fairies. It's beautifully done. Great information in there, and good pictures for those that like pictures in books. You should definitely pick up a copy of it. And if you contact the Cryptid Guru, he will sign it and autograph it personally to you. So
I know. We're all we're gonna have a big guru party come spring when he gets married.
Yes, I believe I'll be the officiating that event right there.
Nice.
So yes, I am an ordained minister, so I'm able to do those things. I'm more than happy to join people in holy matrimony that love each other. It works out great, and I'll get to chat with all of you guys too that you come over. But it should be fun. You know, you're in the Cryptid Guru zone. Then there's a lot of strange stuff in that area. We can always go for a hike.
Well, you know what? I'll be game for it. I got to get there, and that is the plan. So I'm looking forward to it. CryptoGuru.net is Ronald Murphy's website if you want to check it on out. Hey, I want to ask you this, okay? And I asked this question about a week and a half ago to one of our guests, and I'm curious your opinion. What are we missing when it comes to trying to solve the mystery of cryptids or the paranormal and ghosts in general? What are we missing? Because, you know, when you have something on the tip of your tongue and you just can't figure out what that word is, or you just can't get that word out of your mouth, it's right there, you could see it, but almost like you forget how to pronounce it. And when it comes to the paranormal and cryptid world, let's leave the UFOs out of it for a quick second here.
Sure.
I think there has to be something basic, Bryan, that we are missing.
Yeah. Anybody that's gone to and taken a marketing class will know that the phrase KISS, KISS, and it isn't for the KISS Army, God bless them. It's keep it simple, stupid. And I think we're over analyzing and over projecting. And I think part of what we're missing to kind of get that answer, to clear that tip of the tongue and go, oh, that aha moment, is too many people just gung-ho and using these machines and trying to invent ways to interact with different areas, be it ITC or whatever. I think we need to possibly use a little bit more meditation and focus on the objective. We need to raise our vibration, and I never would have said this before, but raise our vibration, and in turn, we may be able to unlock some of these mysteries and secrets. We may be able to go to a next level where it's more information comes to us. We're just basing it on what we have media-wise. Put the cell phone down. Put the TV off. Shut the TV off. Get the radio waves off. Shut your wireless down for a few minutes, unless you're listening to SOR, though. Keep it on for that. Okay. But there you go. But what you want to do is you want to disconnect yourself. You want to disconnect yourself from the stuff that's clouding our minds and fogging our pineal gland, like your third eye, and you want to try to open it up. It's really mystical and it sounds really kooky. I would have laughed at it a couple of years ago, like, yeah, love and light. But it's true. Every message that comes back from the beyond, all these, I don't think these cryptids, not all of them, but I don't think they're really out there to hurt you. They have their purpose. They go out, they do their thing, and they come back. It's the interaction with people, in the real world, and our attitudes are not in the right place. We got to tune ourselves in like a radio station. You got to tune that frequency. There's a little static going on, but if you just use a little bit of fine tuning by maybe breathing more and just stopping for 5 minutes to focus, you may be able to get in touch with that missing link that we're missing. That's why I told you initially we're trying different methods now of mentally going in and preparing ourselves. We always protect ourselves beforehand with sage, and we say prayers and put the white light in the bubbles around us. But when you get in there, it's always beep, 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 beep. Okay, shut the machines off. Stop. Listen. Smell. Do that Willy Wonka moment when you just walked into the chocolate factory. And I think you'll be surprised that you start taking in all the different colors and the senses, and maybe you raise yourself so now you can start to communicate and you're opening up your third eye. I think it will help a lot.
Mm-hmm. But on the investigative technique, has it become, in your opinion, a little bit too reliant on technology in trying to prove this, and we've forgotten actually how to look with our own eyes?
Oh, 100%. The only object that I love right now, and I think it needs to be more developed, and this is usable for cryptids as well, is the Connect portion of investigations, where they hook up a Connect camera. That camera on your Xbox, when Microsoft bought that technology and enhanced it, it is what you get currently on a public system for Xbox isn't even like close to what that thing can do. It literally can detect your blood pressure. It can detect your blood flow. It has the ability to do things that is really out of this world. And I think if we can harness this or fine-tune that technology, I think we may be able to get in touch with more spirits, or be able to catch something that's hiding through some kind of cloaking device. When I think of Bigfoot, and one of the things I believe, because I'm doing a lot of research on it, is their infrasound. The reason why you don't get you always get these blob squatches, and I talked about it, I think, before, is because they're aware you're there. They know what a camera is. It's really bizarre how they know these things. They know what humans are. They know that they can be very dangerous, and they know what cameras are. And I think they use infrasound that creates a field which disturbs the various spectrums. And I think with this other type of equipment, this Connect type of device, or a FLIR is really good. There's no way to circumvent it. FLIR picks up the heat. And if you want to catch these things, I think a great project would be to use FLIR-based cameras and drones, more silent, and just keep doing for a year passes over large areas. Certain people get quadrants, and you go to the Pacific Northwest or a highly concentrated area where a lot of sightings are, and you start doing passes with these better FLIR equipment. I think we would catch these Bigfoots on literally on camera. And then if you know their habitat or where they're really, hanging out and their clan is, then you bring in the Connect stuff and see if we can pull some more stuff from that where you're seeing through the dark. I think it would be fantastic. It would just be out of this world. Not many people are using it. It's a very expensive type of piece of equipment. People that make it, they put their heart and soul into it. But I think that's what we're missing. I think that device is very key in the future of it. And let's get rid of the electromagnetic stuff, the EMF detectors. I use it too. I use tri-field meters, which are, the problem with these is you have to have run real-time weather on some device when you're using it, because most of these detectors can pick up lightning 6 to 10 miles away, and that will light your light up. Not necessarily Grandpa, Joe, who's a ghost at this point. So there's way too many other variables that interfere with most of this electronics. But I think that Connect and FLIR, that's the future. That's the way to go through it.
Where does intuition come into play?
Oh, intuition is huge. Again, going back to that, clearing your mind, the more you become centered or, be able to get yourself out of the daily grind, which is frustrating everybody, and the more you can just stop for a few minutes, one, your life's going to feel better, your world's going to get better, and you're going to start fine-tuning the gifts that everybody has. Everybody has these gifts. We have a psychic in Arkansas, and she's freaking top of the line. She's spot on. I do remote viewing, and it's like a muscle. You have to start tuning into and doing things to help your third eye out and taking advantage of the gland that you have there so that you can start using it. Once you start calming yourself down, one, it becomes easier, and two, then your intuition can come into play, and you're going to pick up those things, the little nuances. You may be able to connect mentally with these beings that are out there, these spirits, not just through these blob photos or whatever. Who knows? But I think that's the way to go. I think that's where the intuition is. Your intuition is only as good as your body is. So if you have a polluted or stressed out body, you're not going to get any of that intuition unless you're really, really gifted. There's a couple of psychics that have family history of it. Just go for it. Become more spiritual, and you'll see. Watch what happens. It really does help in the investigation. A lot of these guys you see on TV, I know the Ghost Hunter guys have come back. I think it's a little too late. But you know what? It becomes a dog and pony show from these guys. We'll do a couple recordings and whatever. When you go in there with a pure heart and you're I'm here to interact, get some information, try to help you out. You're centered. That's where it comes. That's the key. You are the vessel to do it.
I have a psychic coming on Thursday. Angel K is her name. She's in Missouri.
Thursday, that's good.
Yeah, and she, I tested her out one day because I always like to test. And her and I had some interesting conversations, and we were having troubles with some of the spirits at the museum that I was having. or where I do my ghost tour.
Right.
She's never seen a picture of my area, doesn't even know where in British Columbia I live, because she's not very up on Canadian provinces. And here I am on the phone with her, talking, I got her on speakerphone, and she is reading the exact same building that I'm in. She didn't even know the name of the museum I was at. And she started reading the building that I was in, how many people were in there, everything. It was absolutely incredible. And I'm thinking, this girl is 2,000 miles away from me.
Yep.
Doesn't even know the museum, has never seen a picture, nothing. And here she is reading this situation. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, when you get this psychic on, the first thing you need to do is get those Powerball numbers and Mega Millions numbers for Friday and Saturday. Send them to me. We'll split it. I swear to God, I'll even only take 20% of it. That being said, it's really incredible. When you come up, and I'm always questioning anybody that's a psychic or a palm reader or whatever, you have to wow me. Okay? But when someone comes up to me and they mention certain things, there's no way in heck they should know. And I've had that only happen 2 times in my life, and I've seen dozens upon dozens of these people. It blows you away. But like that psychic that was reading everybody in the building and what was going on, it's really funny. Our psychic out of Arkansas, we had somebody contact her, and she could literally, if she was on right now, and you asked her, she would read your medicine bottle. She literally had somebody. We had somebody on, and she was reading the medicine that this woman was taking. It says, you're taking the wrong dosage. And the woman was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "The medicine." And she described exactly where it is, and she says it's from blah 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 blah, and the doctor's name, and everything that was on that little label on your medicine. She was reading it like a prescription, and that blew me away. That was just like insane. It gives you chills when you have people that can do things like that. It blows you away.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. We got about 5 minutes before we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. And Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight, filling in for Butch Witkowski on Strange Days. I think there has to be a combination between the two. I think there's a strong place for technology moving forward. And I think technology may be the way to help decipher some of these clues that we continue to get in the paranormal, because that's all they really are, is puzzle pieces or clues.
Right.
But I do believe there has to be a healthy combination between the intuition and the intuitive side as well. We haven't gone far enough to study that. I mean, you could say people like James Randi have, or other scientists have, and they don't buy it, they don't believe it. But there's too much coincidence to say it is coincidence, if that makes sense.
No, and you're right about that. And something that I've done and I've always thought about, I used to play this game on a bus. Okay, I'd take a bus from New York City back home, one of the boroughs I live in, and I used to get out early and I'd sit in the back of the bus, and just because the bus rides are boring or whatever, I'd just pick somebody and I'd sit there and mentally say, turn around, say hi, turn around, in my head. Keep telling, like I'm focusing on one person. And eventually what happens is these people eventually turn around and they kind of look at you creepy, like what's, so there's got to be this. Is it intuition that's when you mention intuition being an important part, that's part of intuition. That's your body opening up and accepting certain forces that are out there and guiding you. When I go into, a situation, you get into a room, and if you're like what do they call it? An empath, right? It sucks being an empath, because what happens is you pick up on all the negative, everything, whether it be positive or negative. When someone's depressed, you walk into a place and you're like, oh my God, you can feel it. It's like a fog. So that's partially intuition that you're picking up on. You're picking up on all this stuff. Or have you ever gone into a place, and this has happened, we were supposed to go to an event, an affair for a friend. We missed the service, but we went to the party area, and we're waiting, and this guy walked in, and immediately I got this thing in my stomach, and then it started going to my head, and I said, we got to go. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we need to leave right now. And we left, and there was a big altercation there. It was the ex-husband. Someone else is getting married. This is part of your intuition. I mean, there are people that have these gifts that do it. The best way to develop these gifts is I do remote viewing. And I've been doing it for a while. And the more and more you do it, the more and more you develop a better intuition and the ability to do that. And being someone who's very creative, using a lot more of both hemispheres of your brain, and also someone who's more logical and like scientific, I question what I see, and I see things in my mind's eye, and I'm like, okay, am I going crazy, or am I just making it up imagination? But when you get these visions, or you're able to do things or go places and see things and touch things, and you get a response back from someone saying you were spot on, that's exactly who it is, or yeah, that's exactly what my room looks like, and you're 98% accurate on these things, then you don't, I still question what I can do, but I don't, it's not I don't do it all the time, but it freaks you out. You got to start focusing on that. Focusing on using actually a great app. It's on most phones. Is a Tibetan singing bowl app. And when you're going on an investigation, ramp up the frequency. Ramp up. Go and start playing with the bowls. And I will guarantee you that what once wasn't there will be drawn there. Not necessarily good or bad or whatever, but there's something about the frequency and the vibration that entices that other world. That entices these cryptids to come out. They hear it. It may be used at this point in time to be able to open up portals to dimensions. We have I don't know if you ever know anything about the Northeast in the United States, but in New York State we have these cellars. They look like root cellars, but they're not. They're all over. They're pockmarked all over New York State into New England. We have one cellar that we were investigating. We're doing all the readings from magnetometers. We're doing electromagnetic work. And in the back of this cave, it's a small room. It's maybe 12 feet by 6 feet. It's low ceiling. Big stones. I mean, you had to have heavy equipment to move it, but somehow they built it. And the back wall of this one area, it looks like plain rock. But if you use ultraviolet light, or a UV camera or a night vision camera, there's runic writing on the back of it. That's pretty impressive. But one of the most impressive things, and we uploaded this to YouTube through the Bronxville Paranormal Society on YouTube. Al was there with me. We're doing some investigations. I'm using a FLIR camera.
Right. Hey, bud, you saved that story for right when we get back. We're also going to get into remote viewing in the next half hour. Bryan Bowden is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, filling in for Butch Witkowski on Strange Days. Hour 3 of SOR coming up after this. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Come hang out with me, Little Richie G, as I take over the airwaves on Spaced Out Saturdays. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm going to bring you the most fun on the radio you can have with your clothes on. We're going to get to the heart of the subjects from UFOs to what's going on in the paranormal and everything in between. So come join me at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, for the fastest 3 hours of your week.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info.
Here we go.
Back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, hanging out in the frozen Canadian tundra. Hi to everyone listening in on KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. In Noonan, Georgia, we're on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, and in Ridgecrest, California, KZFX 93.7 FM. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Zenzik. Yeah, Zenzik is your password. Nobody knows what it means, but the clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. More coming very, very soon. For the final time tonight, we introduce Bryan Bowden. He is a researcher out of the state of New York, a great podcaster, along with the crypto guru, Ronald Murphy, as well. You got to check out their show. He's filling in for Butch Witkowski on Strange Days, which happens the final Monday of every month. And looks like Butch is going to be healthy enough for a return next month. Nonetheless, we thank Bryan for filling on in. Thank you so much for doing this, my friend.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I hope Butch gives me an A for the class.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I'll get an earful eventually. Either way, but it's great to be here. Always love helping out a friend and chatting with the Spaced Out Radio fans that are there around the globe. I love it.
I got a couple of questions before we get to remote viewing.
Sure.
Keith is asking, are you saying move away from scientific research and more so to the supernatural, even for cryptids?
No, I'm not saying move away from scientific research. I'm saying put that on the side for a bit, get yourself tuned in, and then that scientific research will start writing itself, because you're going to be able to sense variables in certain situations. Like you said, you were talking about your intuition. You're going to start keying in on things that most detectors aren't built to detect at this point. The greatest detector in the world is probably the human detector or a dog. I recommend also bringing dogs along with you on investigations. They'll tell you when something's going down. But when you key in and when you get more in tune with yourself and your spirit and your body, it's a vehicle, it's a tool, and that will help you to validate the scientific side of it. You may be able to replicate or experiments, legitimate experiments, and that's what science wants. They want replication of it. So I don't abandon anything. I just think you need to start trying new things. And I was not one of those, sitting there doing the Om thing, but I've been trying to do a couple like 5-minute meditations just to get rid of all this static. And I think it will help you out tuning into more of what's around you, even with cryptids.
All right. Another question, this one coming from Joey, who is asking, and of course I scrolled right by it. He says, I'm curious as to your faith, Bryan, in the Kinect sensor. Are you proposing it to be used outdoors? Because if you are, the device is being moved, which is against what developers recommend, and they developed the database to be used with fixed points. With movement, the device is forced to make guesses in an attempt to compensate for repositioning. Finally, it is programmed for humans in various sizes and positions, not cryptids larger than the average human. There are a few of the issues to be considered using this device.
Yes, there is a problem with that. And what I do recommend is not necessarily moving with the device like you see on these people on TV. I want stationary devices put, just like you'd put a game camera, and you put them there with maybe another camera monitoring that video screen and the Kinect as it works. So yeah, you're correct. That's not built really to be moved with, and for movement. However, on the more, I guess you would call the commercial side of it, and what the Kinect can do, you literally can control. It was designed to be able to do operations anywhere in the world at any point where the patient is and where the doctor is. That's part of the technology, what it was designed for. And it's that sensitive. So there is movement when we're talking about operations. And moving. Yes, the patient may not operate, but the user will operate. Will move. So, put them stationary in different locations. Have a camera on that screen and see what you get from it. That's what I'm advocating.
Gotcha. All right, Uncle Dale and his power stash are asking, in physics terms, when you ground yourself, you reduce your amplitude or strength and frequency of your energy to zero. So is getting grounded in paranormal terms like that?
No. Getting grounded in paranormal terms or spiritual terms, when I say grounding yourself, I say that you're getting in touch with what your God-given abilities are. And what you want to do is there's a lot of things we ingest in this world that cloud that third eye area. And what you want to do is you want to try to get rid of that. You want to take some iodine. That's great for getting it's good for you anyhow, health-wise. And you want to be able to stop for a moment and focus on your body, your breathing, so that you can be more in tune with what's going on out there. That's the grounding. He's correct about physics. Your amplitude goes down, and you get the baseline. We're not doing baselines. You can't compare the physics side, that scientific side, to what I'm talking about. This is more spiritual based. It's not really a church type of spirituality. It's more that Eastern philosophy type of stuff where you're just in tune with everything. You can start hearing things better. Your senses start to evolve and do what they're supposed to do, and your sight will be better. And internally, I think everybody, like I said before, has the abilities to do what some of these psychics are doing and these intuitives are doing. But until you get yourself focused and realigned so that your machine, your vessel can do it, you won't be getting the results that you want. So just start practicing it. It's not going to hurt you to meditate for 5 minutes. Call it a power nap. But that's been proven too. Like when people take power naps, 5 minutes, boom, they're refreshed, and everything is just like they start picking things up again because you're refreshed. You get your systems aligned.
All right, let's get to remote viewing. You are a remote viewer. When did you start this?
I started this a couple years back, about I'm going to say about 7 years ago. And I was always very interested in it. And I was able to, again, like I said, sometimes I think, is it an overactive imagination? But I really started getting focused on doing it when I started helping people out. I would ask permission. Some people were not feeling well, or they were having a problem. Actually, our psychic had a problem in her home, and she was wondering why the child was sick and why she was not feeling well. And I was able to, and I've never seen, I'm just going to stress straight up, I've never seen anything, any pictures or anything of where this home is that I did this to. Okay. But I was able to literally close my eyes, start breathing, start trying to get not like into like a trance, into a meditative position where I'm blocking out all the normal things in my life, and I'm focusing on this subject. And I was able to travel to the location, and I noticed, and I told them, I said, where the room is, there's a wall that separates the two rooms, and you need to pull the beds back over there because there's mold. You're getting a mold sickness. And sure enough, I had no idea that they had mold there. There was mold creeping, and I described the color of the room. I described what's going place, where it's coming in. It's looking in from the outside. And it's just, as I started getting more and more hits, and I'm getting the positive results back, it's again like a muscle. You're able to do it better and better. And I use it on investigations. If I can't get to an investigation, but I know the group's going out, I'll sit there in a remote view. The last time I did it, my buddy Al went out with a couple people. There's two different groups there. These two guys came along that we were invited, and there's these three ladies that were invited to the Bigfoot expedition that we did. And I couldn't get there, so I started remote viewing the place, and I started describing, I could see exactly where they are. I could see there was a large tree there. Where the rocks were being thrown at them were, because I didn't know initially. No one told me there were rocks, but I said there were rocks being thrown from a certain direction. And I described the different lights that they would see, this bluish light, like a spark type, what took place. And they validated back to me that this is what was taking place. And it kind of pissed me off when he did it, but they came back with they want to know what color they're thinking of. And that kind of bothered me because it's not like a dog and pony show. I'm not like a sideshow act. But without even thinking about it, because I keep using this and trying to do more remote viewing, different targets, I instantly saw green, and then I saw a green that went into a greenish yellow, like a chartreuse, and then I saw another color which is more purple. I said, well, someone's thinking of a green like a forest green, but there's someone else thinking a little more yellowy green like a chartreuse. And then I see someone, I just see the color. It just appears in your head of the purple. And my buddy Al just, texting me back, laughing out loud. He goes, "You're spot on." And they were blown away by it. I don't do dog and pony toe tricks. I never thought it would work that way. But like I said, you exercise these gifts you have, and you attempt to do some remote viewing, and see in your mind's eye locations you want to go to. You'll be surprised at the results. And the more you do it, the stronger the muscle becomes, and it becomes easier. It just starts coming to you. At any point in time. Like when we have a conversation, if you start describing something, I can see it in my mind's eye exactly what you're talking about. Now, I've never been to some of these places when they're talking about it, but I just do it. And I experiment all the time. I tell people that I know to pick a place and don't tell me about it. Just to, as an exercise. If I have extra couple minutes, I'll play around with it. Something I'm doing now, someone told me to remote view some of the moons of Jupiter, which I have yet to go to space with this thing. I'm friends with someone he's a brother of mine, and he was very good friends with Ingela Swan, who is probably one of the best remote viewers ever. Was like 100% spot on. So you just keep playing with it. I love doing it. If you can help somebody out, I'm right there. And I've helped out many people, been able to go there and find out what's, they're not feeling well and try to figure out, well, I'll see the area on their body where it is and say, you need to go check your thyroid or whatever. I'm not saying I'm a mystic. It's just something I'm able to do. And now that I'm aware of that, I'm able to do it. I'm going to play around with it more. You know, there's a whole group of people out there. There's a new group. They're remote viewers. And what they're doing now is they're remote viewing the market, the stock market. And they're creating a fund. It's all remote viewed. And from what I remembered last time, they're doing really well. How about that?
Well, that would be interesting.
Well, I mean, you know, you have certain events or you have certain meetings. You know, if you ask a question, and I've done this before, where someone asked me, like, they had a situation, and a group was going into a meeting and say, I really want to know what's going on in that meeting because X depends on it. And I've gone in and it says, can you help me? And I've gone in and I've kind of like, I peered in a meeting and I can see everybody. I can hear the conversation. At certain times, people that are aware or do have the abilities can see you, mind you. If someone's more in tune or has that gift or the gift of sight, they'll see you. It scares the hell out of them. You just appear. And that's happened to me at one other thing. We were investigating this person that was supposed to be on our team, but so I've been able to give them information and tell them what's going to transpire. They're going to offer you this, and you're going to have to go this way, and they'll play the game, but they're not going to do it because I told them the conversation. They're going to, you know, how they're going to roll with that offer or whatever it is, and I was spot on. He told me, "Holy crap, you're spot on." Oh, sorry about that C word there. I got yelled at in the chat room for that. But and it amazes me that I can do this. But I believe you can do it, Dave, and I believe everybody that's listening can do it. It's just taking the time to try it out. Right?
For some, it's such a mental shock when they go into this and start seeing things that they shouldn't see. There is a danger to it because you might be tempted to go into areas where you maybe not are permitted to go, let's say government installs or something along those lines. How much in control do you have to be of this gift?
All I can say is before I go into anything, and this includes investigations of paranormal, what you have to do is, I don't know what your belief system is, whoever's listening, but I'm hoping you believe in a higher power. And if you do, you want to ask that higher power, you want to picture a white or golden light bubble around you. And the outside of that bubble, what you want is mirror that you can see through, but no one can see you in there. And the reason you do that is you don't want anybody attached to you. You don't know what the situation you're going into. So you don't know what the capabilities of those things are. That will protect you. When you ask for protection of the help of God or whomever your higher power is. But if you go into certain situations, and this is very interesting, there's several countries that do still use remote viewers, and even though they haven't admitted to using it anymore, they said they don't. The U.S. still does use remote viewing to spy on everybody. The Russians have been doing it, and they still do it. The funny thing is, when you get to some of these installations, like in Area 51, right, and you think you're going to remote view it, don't even try. They do have people that are watcher remote viewers, and their job is to stop you, and they can stop you from doing it. They're people, they have abilities to put walls up. It's very matrixy. It's happened to me when we had someone that said they had the abilities, different abilities, and they were going to be on the team. So before we get somebody to come on the team, for the safety of everybody on the team, we have our psychic, do a scan on them. You go check them out. And she goes over and she does her psychic reading of them to see if they're good, bad, or evil, or whatever. And this person kept blocking our psychic. Well, we can't have that, because if we're going out in the woods, we have to know that everybody that's with us is dependable, reliable. It's a safety purpose. And everybody's, going to be coming in and going out fine. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and talk to this person. So I remote viewed. I happened to remote view when this person was getting on dressed for the most part, or dressed, and she in her underwear, and I scared the bejeebies out of her. I mean, I really did. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm who I am." And they said, "Why? You got to stop blocking the psychic because it's a safety issue." So she tried to throw up a wall and basically put a gate up, like if you rolled a gate down in front of a store. And I was able, I guess I was better than that. Than she had, and I was able to stop that. Well, long story short, we never heard from her again. She did say something to the effect of, "Don't send them to me anymore," and that was it. She just doesn't want to have anything to do with us. And I understand when you go into a situation, everybody has their little secrets, right? And you don't want people peering into your world while you're doing it. I don't do stuff like that. Whatsoever, but you can get yourself in a situation if you have someone that's more powerful at something or better at it than you. They can rock your world. They can lock you up in that, and you'll be sitting there. You'll be stuck in a trance for the most part, as long as they want. So be careful what you're doing, but it's really simple. You can play around. It's a fun game to do. If you're going to a friend's house and everybody's going to say, "Hey, everybody bring something," and just you bring it, don't tell what it is, put it in a bag or hide it someplace in a box, and then each of us will take a few minutes and we'll try to remote view what you brought with us. And it could be a picture, it could be a watch, it could be anything, and see what people start sketching out or what comes to them. You'll see a lot of people are going to get it, and that's how you start off with it safely. And then you can go risky and try to, peer into the future, or, some of these things that Ingo Swann was doing was just out of this world, literally out of this world. He was capable of doing. He used to go in different galaxies, and it's incredible what can be done. And this is it's proven. It's not I want to say it's science, but it is technically a science. It's just beyond our no, that's all fake stuff. It's not fake, it's real, and it's accurate, and people use it now. There are businesses that use it. They want to see what's going on with their competitors. There's a couple of remote views that go out there and they go check on competitors and give them info. I don't know if that's corporate spying or not, but hey,
well, why not?
Exactly. You know what? It's a tool, right? So do you want to use a calculator or a computer, right? I'd rather use a computer.
Me too. My friend, we only got about 90 seconds or so left with you tonight. And I want to say over the last couple of months, you've been on a couple times filling in for Butch. I really appreciate you coming on in and taking the time to do that. It really meant a lot. Butch has very, very big shoes to fill. And I think between you and Eric Altman, you guys filled it properly and professionally. And I want to say thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate it, and it's good to be in a class of, Eric Altman and Butch and you and the whole Spaced Out Radio family. I mean, you guys are great. You got a great I think it's the best show out there. It's everywhere. You keep doing what you're doing. I love everybody that's in the chat, and I'm here for you anytime you need it, brother.
Well, we appreciate that, man. We really do. Do me a favor. Let everybody know in the next 45 seconds or so where you can find your podcast, your information, your research.
Okay, our podcast is Inside the Goblin Universe. I also do another one called Nobo Boomy, which stands for Nobody But Me, but it's all hosted through Podbean. So if you go to InsideTheGoblinUniverse.podbean.com, you'll find us. If you ask Siri, play Inside the Goblin Universe, she'll find it for you. You can also ask whatever is on the Android phones. And we are on we're in everything, like every social media site. We're on Facebook. I also have the Bronxville Paranormal Society. That's BronxvilleParanormalSociety.com. We're on YouTube and Facebook for some of the evidence and stuff that we were talking about. And that new group that we started, which is called the New York State UFO Project. It's usually at nysufop.com. And if you have a report, you want to report it, just call 516-519-3648. It's a 24-hour hotline. We'll investigate.
Thanks, buddy. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
When it comes to the news, we look for the stories that the mainstream won't cover. Welcome to Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter. This is News Director Everett Thiemer. The Encounter is about the weird and strange stories that occur daily, and we scour the world looking to bring them to you. You can hear me with Dave Scott every Monday through Friday in our Encounter news segment. Read us online at spacedoutradio.com or check us out and give our Facebook page a like at SOR The Encounter.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
at spacedoutradio.com. We have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot THAL. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother is watching.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for putting up with me tonight. Hey, I want to remind all of you, if you've missed most of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on the SOR Newswire, updated daily by Captain Shirk. Speaking of the news, let's get to it. The news is always changing, which is why we give you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the head scratchers, and sometimes the downright scary. Starting off in Europe, where tragedy nearly struck a plane flying when the pilot passed out in mid-flight. Fortunately, an off-duty pilot was apparently flying on the same plane and was able to step into the cockpit. The plane was then forced to make an emergency landing at Porto Airport in Portugal. The incident occurred on a Jet 2 flight. An alarm was reported sounded at around 10:20 a.m., and a runway at Porto Airport was closed until about 11 to keep it available for an emergency landing. Jet 2 confirmed on Twitter that an onboard medical situation occurred on flight LS-765 from Manchester to Funchal. Yeah, they posted, "We would like to apologize to customers traveling on LS-765, which has diverted into Porto, Portugal, due to an onboard medical situation. We are working to get you on your way ASAP. Please see our agents, Portway at Gate 2 for more information." I have no idea where Gate 2 is. Well, apparently, flight LS-765 was brought down due to precautionary measures due to one of the pilots feeling unwell. A standby aircraft and replacement crew will be flown to Porto, so that way the customers can get back to Funchal as quickly as possible. The man who said he was a passenger on the flight said the original pilot was wheeled off the plane in a wheelchair wearing an oxygen mask. Yeah, that could have been so tragic. We are so glad that turned out much, much better. Here's a weird story that I'm just not feeling good about. Not feeling good about this one at all, but I'm going to read it to you. Artifacts from the 1986 Space Shuttle Challenger disaster are up for auction, including remains of the spacecraft that were given to the family of Mission Commander Dick Scobie following the tragic accident. In addition to the pieces of the craft, also up for auction are 3 Robbins medals that commemorated the tragic mission and were presented to the family after the tragedy. The original medals were destroyed during the explosion, so NASA struck new medals in honor of the mission. According to auction house Nate D. Sanders in a statement, the 2 of the Robbins medals have a minimum bid of $6,000 and the other has a bid of $5,000 respectively. Also included in the auction are several family photos, a letter that Scobie penned to his parents 3 months prior to the accident, and several prototype models that Scobie owned, including one of the Challenger. The auction house explained that the memorabilia is being consigned by Dick's brother James. A complete list of the items can be found at the auction's website. On January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Orbiter undertaking mission STS-51L and the Challenger broke apart 73 seconds into its flight, killing all 7 crew members, including Scobie, 4 NASA astronauts, 1 payload specialist, and civilian schoolteacher Krista McAuliffe. I realize the family is doing this. Maybe they need the money, maybe not. I really don't know. I really don't. But there's just something sacred about that disaster that I don't think it should go up on auction. That's just me. But I'm not the family. I'm not the one making that decision. How do you feel about it? Let us know at spacedoutradio.com. You can comment under the story. I'm pretty upset with Kentucky Fried Chicken right now. Really am. Because apparently they're now into making finger-licking fake chicken. KFC plans to test plant-based chicken nuggets and boneless wings at one of its restaurants in Atlanta. Depending on customer feedback, the chain could expand the test to other markets. California-based startup Beyond Meat said it developed the new product specifically for KFC. It's made with wheat protein coated in a proprietary breading. I almost said breeding there. Breading. Beyond Meat also sells plant-based burgers, sausages, and meat crumbles at grocery stores and some fast food chains like Carl's Jr. and Del Taco. Frozen plant-based chicken strips were the first product Beyond Meat sold, starting in 2012, but the company pulled them off the market earlier this year because it wanted to improve the recipe. In other words, it tastes like crap. Tastes like crap, people. Look, I know there's vegetarians and vegans that listen to this show. One word: bacon. Restaurants are opening or responding to a surge, apparently, in consumer demand for plant-based meats as people seek healthier and more sustainable food. U.S. sales of meat substitutes are expected to jump 78% to $2.5 billion between 2018 and 2023. Beyond Meat already has some serious competition in the plant-based chicken market. Tyson Foods, one of the world's largest meat producers, recently announced plans to sell nuggets made from pea protein. That's PEA, not PEE. Chicken producer Purdue Farms is also making nuggets, tenders, and patties from a blend of chicken and vegetables. See, I'd eat that. I'd eat that for sure. KFC, stay away. You're an American icon. Colonel Sanders would be turning blue in his suit right now. Come on. There are certain things that shouldn't be touched. KFC is one of them. All right. So we all know the Amazon is burning right now. We did a story on that just last week. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the G7 summit in France announced Canada is providing $15 million to help fight the fires. An announcement came on the heels of French President Emmanuel Macron saying the G7 would provide $20 million. The contribution by Canada is in addition to the amount announced by Macron, a spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office said. Of course. Trudeau was asked by reporters why the nations at the summit had not agreed to provide more. Says, I can't speak for my G7 partners, but we are happy to announce right here, right now, that Canada will be investing $15 million ourselves to those forest fires. He said nothing, or noting that Canada's contribution will include sharing and sending down water bombers that are so significantly needed. Now, the good news is, up here in Canada, especially here in British Columbia and Alberta, we haven't had a lot of forest fires this year. So a lot of the forest fire planes can go down there and help. But I got to say this. Where were you, Mr. Prime Minister, when my town was burning? Where were you? You said you weren't needed here. The people who voted for you needed you here. Show some support. There were 50,000 people, 50,000 Canadians for 2 to 3 weeks that were evacuated from their houses. Some of them gone and went home to nothing. Where was the $15 million for your Canadian citizens 2 years ago when you bailed on your own citizens because you're not a fan of the West? Anyways, getting a little, let's just say political there. Yeah. Mr. Trudeau needs a little wake-up call. The Space Force is getting closer to launch. Speaking at a meeting of the National Space Council, Vice President Mike Pence and Pentagon officials announced that a key step in creating the newest branch of the military would happen next week. The U.S. Space Command officially starts August 29th, serving as the launching pad for the Space Force. Air Force General John Raymond has been tapped and confirmed by the Senate as its first leader. The United States Space Force will ensure that our nation is prepared to defend our people, defend our interests, and defend our values in the vast expanse of space and here on Earth with the technologies that will support our common defense from the vast reaches of outer space. In other words, bring on the aliens, man. We're going to give them some freedom. The establishment of the Space Force still requires congressional funding and authority, a step Pence said would soon happen. Freedom for the aliens. A Louisiana farmer placed a winning bid when he spotted a unique animal up for auction, a calf with 5 legs. Matt Alexander says he and his fiancée Maglin decided to give the calf a home at their farm in Hathaway, despite some others at the auction speculating the extra limb would lead the calf to an early death. The couple said they've been pleased to see the calf thrive in apparently good health. They said that they are planning to have the calf, which Davis dubbed Elsie, checked out by the veterinarian to see if the extra leg could be surgically removed. The couples are keeping fans updated on Elsie's life with a Facebook fan page set up in the cow's name, because we all need to join that. Drunk Florida man has been charged with disorderly intoxication. Go figure. After he harassed, how do you do this? He harassed a Michael Jackson impersonator. What could go wrong there? Todd Mahone, 51, has been drinking at a club and after leaving started yelling at the impersonator who was performing nearby. Mahone accused the fake Michael Jackson of promoting the real Michael Jackson's alleged child molestation. A crowd of people was watching as Mahone harassed performers, including an 11-year-old child who was part of the impersonator's act. Witnesses say Mahone was very aggressive and tried to fight with fake Michael Jackson, then attempted to beat it before the law enforcement had arrived. Mahone gave conflicting stories to deputies trying to interview him. At first, he told them he was indeed confronted the impersonator. Then he took back his statement and denied the accusations against him. The deputies reported that Mahone also denied that he had been drinking alcohol that night, even though he reeked of it, and his speech was slurred and mumbled. He was then arrested and charged with disorderly intoxication. How do you go after Michael Jackson impersonator? I don't know. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. Would you kill a cryptid? What would you do with it if you did? Start off with the lovely and talented goddess Michelle. I don't think I would kill it unless I was in a kill or be killed situation. If I did kill it, I would be doing so much reaching out to all the friends I have made, I would ensure that before it left me, it would have nail trimmings, a tooth, blood sample, skin, and fur. That way, if my cryptid suddenly disappeared, I would still have plenty to use when the time was safe. Philly says I would stuff it, mount it to a skateboard, and walk it daily. Okay. All right. Big Sister. Not unless it tried to kill me. Paranormal Avenger. Probably needs a cape, this person. Sasquatch? Unfortunately, yes. Really, the only way science will accept the existence is to bring one in, alive or dead. Hair samples, not enough. We have seen that already. DNA? Nothing to match it, as so no confirmed DNA has ever been recovered to match it. Prefer not to, but what do you do? Judith, no. Why would anyone kill something that is so obviously part of the natural order? Study, learn the pattern its existence fits into so we can gain a better understanding of the whole. We don't even know where it is. Science is religion. Carl Anderson. Not unless it tried to harm me. If I shot something like Bigfoot, I would be filled with remorse as if I killed a human. Tarot. Depended upon the circumstances. In self-defense, maybe. Otherwise, never. Except maybe a Toronto Maple Leafs gnome, maybe. Oh, wait. Ty Domi could kick my butt. Yeah, he could. Collie. Only if I was in imminent danger. If I had to kill it, I would take it to a taxidermist. Maria. No. David. Find out if it all just really tastes like chicken. Yeah, we're going to the Sasquatch barbecue at Dave's house tonight. Anon. Oh, yeah. I'd smoke a cryptid for sure. Would be the only way to identify, research, and prove it. All right, Michael. I'd make a rug out of it. Is that wrong? Or are you going to call PETA? I'm not calling PETA. Why would I call PETA? Starman. No, all life is precious. Humans have got to get the word kill out of our vocabulary. Good luck. Bram. No, because what if it was some Yahoo trying to pull a stunt for his YouTube channel? That's a world of hurt I would rather not experience. I think trying to capture it and or drive it into an area where plants and things will snag its skin and hair is best, i.e. samples for study. Nedver. No. Who cares if it's the only way for scientists to accept it? Take Sasquatch. If flesh and blood, much more human than ape, killing one is immoral. Even more so, just to get the scientific acceptance. It's a moot point, though. Nobody is begging a Sasquatch anytime soon. Pat. If it didn't recognize my gun, I'd probably kill it. If it did recognize my gun, I'd try to coax it into the bathroom. You pervert. Christoph. Based on how the creature will approach me, I would shoot it if it tries to kill me. Cajun Medicine Man. No. Takashila, the creator, has made all beings, the winged ones, the four-legged, the ones that crawl on the ground, the seen and the unseen, and the two-legged. We all have a purpose. The two-legged, it is to learn from all others. Jamie. It all depends. If it was trying to kill me, then yes, I'd kill it. Otherwise, I'd just try to injure it or something to try and prove to the world it's real. Okay. Kelly. I honestly don't think I would ever get close enough to get off a kill shot. Besides, don't shoot Bigfoot. Gabe. I wouldn't want to kill one. Captain Shirk. Oh, I got to read this in her voice here. Oh, good grief. I don't kill insects or spiders. I could never kill a cryptid. However, if it were threatening my family, I would totally go Rob Zombie on it. I would kill it easily. I would be firing at its legs or a non-lethal body part. She's a good shot, too. We've seen her. She's like Chuck Norris without the beard. Caden, if being attacked, absolutely. If I'd killed one, I wouldn't tell anybody until I got my own documentation. Russ, I'd make a yummy Bigfoot stew. Dorothy, not unless my life was in danger. If I did have to, I would make sure I took photos, videos, and get something for DNA testing. Nicholas, self-defense for sure, depending on what it was. I would probably throw it in the freezer until I figured out who to contact about it for sure. Take a pile of photos and collect the skin, hair, etc. sample. Sparky, if I was inside and saw something weird, I would just watch it and try to take pictures of it. If it was outside, I would do my best to get away from whatever it was and hope I got away fast enough not to be harmed because I would not know its intent. In reality, I would not have anything to kill with. I would not want to kill anything anyways. We humans sometimes just want to kill something we don't understand, and I'm not sure this is a good trait. Renee, no, why would you? Unless you're going to hurt, it's going to hurt you. If it was going to attack me, I would fight back, but otherwise the only shot I would take is via film or photo. I think we got time for one more here, maybe two. Jade. Cryptid. Well, that's a plethora of creatures. Wouldn't kill anything unless I had to do it in self-defense. What would I do with it afterwards? After the shock? Well, Dave, I'd contact you. All right. Uncle Dale and his power stash? I'm not sure. Would it be a tasty cryptid? Oh, Uncle Dale. Disgusting. Sylvia. No to Bigfoot. I have a weird love affair with them now. If he were attacking me, I would do whatever I could to survive. Dogman? Don't like him. I haven't heard anything good about it. I would fire a warning shot if I owned a gun, and if it backed off, so would I. Otherwise, it's game on. Those are the only two I would consider cryptids. Creatures of the forest. Otherwise, what else? Nessie? Slenderman? Fairies? I don't consider them cryptids. Penman has the final word. I would not kill a cryptid unless attack was imminent. No, we're going to make it Bobby. Serve it on a bed of rice and feed it to R. Keith Andrews. That's where we end the thought of the day. Thank you for everyone participating on Twitter and Facebook. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thank you to Captain Shirk for putting our news together, and Bryan Bowden for filling in for Butch Witkowski on strange days. We really do appreciate it. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, in our chat rooms, wherever you may be. Twitter, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.